Welcome. I am back in Pixlr, Mr. B here. We're now going to use the, not the paintbrush tool, but we're going to use the pen tool. So it's a little bit different. You're going to see some interesting things happen with this. For this one, instead of choosing a background, I'm going to leave it blank to show you what it looks like when you have a blank background. Once again, we're doing web small to save space. And I've named it Pen Tool 1. And you can put your name on it here too, so that would be really helpful. I'll hit create. All right, so already something has happened here. I don't know why this happened, but it gave me, that is so strange. It gave me this, I don't know what this is. That is very strange. Okay, that must be a new feature that they added, kind of a palette right there. You can see I can click on it and it changes. Do you see how my brush? These are my two brush colors, and I can flip it, and it kind of gives you a picker right here. I wonder if you can drag this off to the side. This is a very, it's kind of in the way. I wonder if I can just put it to the side. That's a new tool. All right, so you've got your image right here, and it's see-through right now. So if you were to save this as a PNG only, you'd have, it would just be a clear picture. So let me pick this gold. You can also pick the color like traditionally. You can hit this button over here, and you can scroll and find your color. I really like this kind of minty green. I'll scroll right there. There it is. Okay, so that was the draw tool. Now we're one over the pen tool. I believe it's 7 down, 2, 4, 6, 7 down on the left-hand side, the pen tool. It says use different type of creative pens like web, crayons, ink, and tail to doodle and draw. So this one is going to open up a little bit more creativity, I think, than just the brush tool. And you can even use a combination of both. So you can see right here, I've got my color selected, and look, I'm just drawing, because it's on sketchy, look at that. Every time I hit a corner, look what it's doing. It's making this weird sketchy design. And I don't love what I just drew, it's okay, but let's get rid of it. Edit undo. All right, so I noticed that, so I'm gonna start out kind of like a spiral. Let's see what happens. Alright, so it kinda looks like I went a little, see I'm making it a little bit more organic. See, you can see as it goes out, you have way less, and it's just a line. Alright, so you've got kind of a radiating core where it's real tight and it's very busy. And then on the outside, there's barely any, difference. And size 1, so I could bump that size up and change it as well, because that's the size of the brushes. Here it says sketchy. We can do parallel. See what parallel does. Parallel just makes straight lines, it looks like. Yep. So edit undo. Let's switch this and let's run some parallel. Let's see what it does if I do spirals with parallel. Oh boy, look at that. So parallel is going to give you straight lines, but because I'm doing it in a, I hope you can see this, it's not very big. Let me do it with a bigger brush. I'll hit edit undo. Alright, so I'm going to bump this size up. There we go, 13, watch. So I'm going to, look at that. I mean, 13 was too much. So edit undo. It's just putting all these straight lines in where, you see that? It's just putting in all these straight lines as my brush. It kind of looks like if it was an aerial view of like a fence, so I can do my spiral that way. All right, and this kind of looks like space almost. So then I'm going to scroll down to trail. So what I'm looking for is that you use 2 different colors or more and 3 different brushes. So once I do this, I've hit the requirement, but I'm looking for cool pictures that you spend some time on. This is just me having fun with the tool. I'd expect you to kind of do something a little bit more creative. All right, so here I am, I'm doing a spiral here. I'm trying to keep it nice and tight. And you can see with the trail tool, it creates this really cool trail that is following the brush. I loved it till I hit this corner. So edit undo, and I was drawing very well with the mouse. I'm getting better at that. Edit undo. So I'm going to kind of keep it really nice in the center here. And this mouse is very sensitive, so and it's kind of a pain because it's so sensitive. It's like a little bit too sensitive. You can change your sensitivity settings on your Chromebook. I've changed it a couple times on this laptop, but it's just way sensitive. So just a little tip if you're drawing. All right, so I've got that. I kind of liked it. All right, and you can see what it does. Look at that. So it's changing as we go out, and it's kind of creating this really cool effect. I really dig that. So I've hit the parameters of the assignment already. I've used 3 different brushes and 2 different colors. I've actually used 3 colors. So I'll go down to shaded now, and I'll show you a little bit of that. And the brush size is 7. You can change the opacity too. That's a fun one. So I can go in and let's say I selected like red. Red's going to really pop on this. And let's change the opacity. Opacity is just like how see-through it is. And I'm just going to go see-through. And you can kind of see through it. Do you see how it's not like a solid red? It's kind of blending with the colors. And it's also because it's shaded. Look what it's doing to it. So there is that. I messed up down there, but that's okay. Edit undo. And look what happens if I bump that up. That was 39. So let's bump it up to like 89. Let's see. So it's a lot more filled and a lot less see-through, but there is a see-through element. If you look closely, you can see the colors that are underneath it. So there I go, and I'm kind of filling in as I go. All right, and then there's a little mistake made again, so I'm gonna get rid of it. And it's gone. All right, so let's do this one more time. Look at that. I mean, because it's kind of a thicker brush, I might have wanted to use a skinnier brush there. And it's kind of going over things in this picture that I don't necessarily love. So there's that. All right, and then it's just hard to draw in those big areas. All right, so that is shaded, and then I'll go down to Fury. That sounds pretty aggressive, doesn't it? So I'm going to go into Fury. Let's make it a calm color so it's not overpowering. I have a feeling this is going to be, I already used that green. Let's go in and use purple. Purple rain, purple rain. All right, so I've got that. Nope, change to black. Let's go back in to purple. All right, there we go. And there we go. And notice it's still transparent. So I'm having a little bit of issue where it's getting kind of crowded in there, but it's okay because it's transparent. So it's still showing what's underneath it. It's creating this cool effect. You can have a lot of fun with these. And because I chose, see that's a solid line, but it looks kind of sketchy around it. Furious, right? So here we go. Oh boy. It was good till that happened. I kind of liked it. I'm going to roll with it. All right, so we've got, all right, this is kind of more just fun. All right, so now that's Fury. I love the crayon. The crayon's really neat. So I'm going to go into crayon. I'm going to make it black just to show you. I mean, you're not going to be able to see it great, but so I've got kind of a black right here. And you can see that it actually is coloring on the background with black there. And it looks like a crayon, doesn't it? So, and it is still transparent because I have not changed my transparency. So here's the black right there, and I'm trying to go slow because it's hard to draw this mouse. I'm doing the, and it's kind of going over some stuff. It's making it look a little bit better. So there's that, and you can, for the outside, maybe I want to bump up the size. So I'll just kind of do like, it got bigger over here, and then it'll kind of cover up a lot of my mistakes. So you can do little fun things like that if you have some mistakes, but I am looking, although I am looking for, some nice work that you worked hard on. I realize that this probably isn't my best work here, but I do expect you to try to make a good picture here. I understand drawing with the mouse is a little difficult. So last one is ink, and I'm going to change it to white would be too overpowering, I think, in this. It would just really, so I'm going to go with this green, but I'm going to make it more green. Let's see, more like this. All right, so that's gonna pop still, but anyways, so here is my green. Yikes, too much, right? So edit, undo, and you can see ink kind of, it needs to be smaller, and it's just a lot more basic. It's like if you were drawing lines, see? But do you see how it's a little, at the edges aren't super clean? Because if you had an ink pen and you weren't going quick enough, it would kind of splotch a little bit. So you can see in this area I went quick, but this part I went slower, so it splotched a little bit more. So that's a neat thing about the ink pen, and I can bring that opacity up to 100 again so that you can see it. It's going to go over everything. But if you click and drag, you can see what happens. The ink pen is not as consistent as the draw tool with the thickness of the line. So that is one drawback if you're drawing something to it. So you could bump down. I think it's better if you bump down the size, so that happens a lot less. You can see it's a little bit better in a situation where it's small. Okay, so edit, undo, and I'm going to save my picture because I'm ready to save. So I go File, Save, and here's the deal. Like I said earlier, JPEG and PNG are my two preferred. Look what JPEG does. That background is gone, okay? And it just made it all white in the background, and it bumped the quality down. So for this, if you did a clear background, you want that background to be clear, hit PNG, and that's a higher quality photo anyway. And then hit download, and it most likely will open in your downloads folder. You can go to show in folder, and it'll be in your downloads. That's usually where it goes, unless you've specified something else. So that's it for the pen tool. Once again, I'm looking for 3 colors, 2 different brushes. I'm sorry, I reversed it. 2 colors, 3 different brushes, or more of either, and really nice pictures. And there's some examples in your daily slides if you want to look at that. So hopefully you guys have a good time with that and get a perfect score. On that note, good luck, and I'll see you later. Let me see if I can close this down. Where did it go?